Cancer does not begin like a sudden disaster. It begins quietly deep inside the body at the level of a single cell, one mistake in DNA, one small failure in replication. Most of the time, the body fixes it. But sometimes it slips through. And that is where everything starts. A single cell stops following the rules. It divides again and again, slowly building something the body cannot control. Most people think this is a modern problem, a consequence of today's food, pollution, or lifestyle. But that idea may only be part of the truth. Because cancer does not appear only in modern humans. It appears wherever life becomes complex enough to maintain itself through cell division. And that raises a deeper question. If cancer is caused by modern life, why do we find traces of it in ancient history or even further back, in beings that lived millions of years before us? To answer that, we need to leave modern assumptions behind and look deeper into time itself. To understand this, we need to go much deeper into time. In 2016, scientists made a discovery that changed the way we think about cancer. Inside a cave in South Africa, they found a fossilized foot bone from an ancient human ancestor. It was around 1.7 million years old, and inside that bone, they found something unexpected, a tumor, not a fracture, not an injury, but a clear sign of bone cancer. This means cancer existed long before modern humans ever appeared. But here is the important part. That fossil is not an exception. It is just one of the rare cases we can still see. Because cancer mostly affects soft tissue, organs, blood, skin. And those tissues almost never survive over millions of years. So what we find in fossils is not the full history of cancer. It is only a fragment. A small window into something much larger and much older. And that raises an uncomfortable possibility. If this is what we can still see today, how much of the past are we completely missing? To go further, scientists turn to something even more revealing than fossils: mummies. Unlike bones buried for millions of years, mummies can preserve soft tissue, organs, internal structures, even signs of disease. And when researchers examined ancient Egyptian mummies, they found something consistent: evidence of tumors, abnormal growths, signs of cancer inside the body. Some of these cases were thousands of years old. This means cancer was not just present in deep prehistory. It was also part of recorded human history. But ancient humans didn't just leave physical evidence behind, they wrote about it. In ancient Egyptian medical texts, doctors described strange internal swellings, tumors in the breast, hard masses that grew under the skin. And their conclusion was simple and brutal: there was no treatment. Later, the Greek physician Hippocrates observed the same condition. He called it carcinos, meaning crab, because the disease seemed to spread like claws through the body. That word would later become cancer. So for thousands of years, humans have been seeing the same thing. They just didn't understand what it truly was. So what is cancer really? At its core, it begins with something simple: a mutation. A small error in the DNA inside a cell. Most of these errors are harmless. The body has repair systems designed to fix them before they cause damage, but not always. Sometimes a mutated cell escapes control. It ignores the rules. It begins to divide repeatedly, creating copies of itself that should not exist. And slowly this process builds into something larger: a mass, a disruption. A system inside the body that no longer follows biological order. But here is what makes this even more important. This process is not unique to humans. Any living organism made of dividing cells carries this risk. Dinosaurs had it, fish have it. Even plants can develop similar uncontrolled growths. Which leads to a deeper realization. Cancer is not a human problem. It is a consequence of complexity itself. The moment life evolves the ability to repair and replace itself, it also creates the possibility of error. And that means something unsettling. Cancer is not an accident in nature, it is part of how life works. So if cancer has always existed, why does it feel so common today? The answer is not simple, but it is important. Modern humans live longer than ever before. We survive infections that once killed early. We survive injuries that once were fatal, and because of that, we now reach ages where cancer has time to develop, 50, 60, 70, even 80 years old. This is the biological window where cancer becomes more likely to appear, but there is another factor: detection. Modern medicine can now find tumors that are incredibly small, invisible in the past, undetectable by ancient physicians. So what looks like an increase in cancer may also be an increase in visibility, and that creates a paradox. The more we save lives, the more we see cancer. But beneath all of this, there is a deeper truth. Cancer is not new, it is not modern, it is ancient. It existed long before human civilization, long before language, long before recorded history. It has always been part of life, built from dividing cells. Which means something profound. Life did not evolve without cancer, it evolved with it. And now, for the first time in history, humans are not just witnessing it, we are studying it, understanding it, fighting it. A condition that has existed for millions of years is now being challenged by intelligence that is very new. And that changes everything. Because cancer is not just a disease. It is a reflection of life itself, and for the first time, we are beginning to rewrite that story.